In this eXp review, I sit down with the gentleman who built the #1 team at one of the largest brokerages in the world, and he talks about why even if you offered him $1 million cash, he would never consider going back. And we're going to get after it right now. Hey ladies and gentlemen, real quick before we get into it, if this is your first time watching one of my videos, welcome. My name is Jimmy Webb Jr. And if you're a real estate agent looking to double your business, well, this is the channel that helps you do that. So go ahead and subscribe right now and tap the bell for notifications so that you can be the first to learn about the latest strategies that are working the best in today's market. I'm also helping a lot of people partner with us at eXp, and we're having an absolute blast doing it. And so I'm an open book. So if you want to get a hold of me, shoot me a text, send me an email, or schedule a call with me below, and I've got your back when making the move to eXp. All right, we are officially live. Welcome everyone. Today I have a very special guest with me that I'm super excited to talk to, Mr. Brad Van De Walle. Brad, how are you today?
Good, man. Can't complain. Excellent day. So the weather here is nice. The snow's going away. So it's all in all a good day.
Yeah, tell everybody the market you're in. You're in Calgary, right?
That's right. Yeah, I'm Calgary, Canada. Our market's been shit for 7 years. And then literally just January, I don't know what happened, man. There's no inventory. Now we're going into like 14 offers on some places, bidding wars like crazy. And we haven't experienced this in probably since 2014. So if you're a newer agent in Calgary, you have no idea what's going on because you've never seen this. But I've been around for a while, so I've seen it before.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a little crazy right now, all over. But yeah, so Brad, I listen. I know you're a pretty humble dude, so allow me to offer a mercifully brief introduction for anyone who doesn't know who you are. So before Brad joined us at eXp, he led the #1 team at the #1 Remax office in the world, and so some might say he knows a thing or two about real estate. So let's jump right into it, Brad. Let me ask you this to start it off. I want to know, how did you first get into real estate, and then kind of flowing into your story a little bit. Let's talk about, some of the key lessons maybe that you learned along the way to grow your business where it is today.
Sure. I remember I started back in 2009. It was the worst time it had ever been in Calgary. And I started April 1st. So I'm actually coming up on my 12-year here. It was a big time. And then, the guy that I was working with at the time probably gave me some great advice that I still actually hold with me to this day. He's like, never watch the news. And it was so simple. And he's like, it's almost always negative. He's like, it puts you in a negative mindset, and then at the end of the news, sometimes it'll be like, oh, there's a cute puppy that got saved, or like something cool. That'll be like one thing, but it's always like
Watch the
negative,
last
negative.
5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's a big thing that I haven't. I've only watched the news once in 12 years, and it was my grandparents' place once. They had it on, and I was watching it, and I'm like, I watched it for like 30 minutes. I'm like, no wonder I don't do this. And I think why it was so important is because when I was new coming in, and it was really, really a tough market, like again, the toughest it's been. Every agent's like, oh, it's so hard. It sucks. It's so hard. It sucks. Coming in, I didn't know any of the difference. Like my third month in real estate, I sold 10 homes in 1 month. So I still, to this day, is still one of my better months, right? To get 10 in a month can be challenging, but it was my third month, and I just wasn't listening to the noise. So I think that that's a big part, because the economy is going to change. It's going to shift. It always does. It's cyclical. I think the mindset's a big part. And if you're surrounding yourself by people that are doom and gloom, it's going to rub off on you. So I think that's some of the little advice that I got at the very beginning that was big for me. And, my first 9 months, I sold 44 houses. I ended up being in the top 200 agents out of 5,500 in our city. So that was, I'm like, all right, this is what I'm meant to do. Let's go. So, and then you just kind of turn it on from there and started my own team, and here we are.
I love that. Yeah. Especially, yeah. I mean, just a Jim Rohn, ideology of just how you set your sail is, you have complete control over that. And so, yeah, I think, yeah, I'm not a big news watcher either. I don't watch much TV at all. So I think, yeah, that goes a long way. But so let's get into eXp a little bit. So when did you
Yeah.
kind of decide to make the move? I mean, share about maybe the time you first heard about it till the time you decided to come over. Was it instant or did it kind of take a while? Walk us through that a little bit.
Is it, am I allowed to swear on this one? Some people do, some
Sure,
people don't.
go for it, man. Authentic is what we do
All
here.
right. Okay, perfect. As long as I can be myself. Forgot to ask at the very beginning because I have, occasionally I get pretty passionate and the odd F-bomb comes out.
That's
But
all right. That's all right.
I think what ended up happening is, a couple people had reached out, in my opinion, and I do mean this humbly, is that I was having agents reaching out to me that I'd never heard of, maybe might be selling 2 or 3 houses a year. And then they're like, you got to see them. Like, I'm just being honest if I can. I'm like, hey, well, what's somebody that's selling 2 or 3 houses a year going to show me that maybe I didn't know? And maybe it was, possibly a little bit of ignorance, but they were also like super shy and opposite of me. So I wouldn't have fit anyway. So like when I came in, I felt like I would love to have been in here 4 years ago, obviously 10, whatever. But I know I kind of came in, I think, at the right time for me because of the partnerships that I aligned myself with may not have been the same. And I think that's a big part is, I was on my first trip in a very long time because of COVID, and I'm literally drunk in Mexico. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, fine. Somebody was trying to get me, and they're like, hey, I have an open mind. And I literally, December 1st, I texted this person. I'm like, I will never be at eXp ever. December 1st. This is what, 3 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I started drinking more tequila, and I'm like, all right, there's got to be something to this. So I called a couple friends of mine. I said, you got to get me on with 2 monsters. Like, I mean, people that totally are going to blow this out of the water, that I can, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to be doing this big. And so the very next day I met Jay Kinder and Mike Reese. They were fortunate enough to get on with them. And then I was still having fun. So still had some tequilas when I was going. And I'm like, so I gave them my vision. I gave them what I wanted to do. And they're like, man, you can do all that stuff. I'm like, really? And then, so that's kind of when it came in. It's like free coaching program, being able to help people, grow an organization, like all these things that I was doing. I was just blown away. And then literally I was like December 2nd. And by December 3rd, I talked to my team. We did another meeting. Everybody was on board. And then we made the transition December 30th because of holidays and all that stuff was a pain. But once somebody explained it to me at a really high level and really understood it, it was over for me. It was the easiest decision I ever made.
Okay, so Michael's calling me right now. Speak of the devil.
Is he?
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Just another Jim Rohn thing, man. Just the 5 people you hang out with. I mean, it just being around big thinkers. It just it starts to flow. Ideas start to go. Different things just start to kind of happen, which is super cool. And I know we're super excited to be working with you because you've got a lot of stuff going on. I know you've got this RICO demand. Talk to us about a little bit what that is.
That's a big one. So any realtor that literally wants a license to print money, and that's not illegal, it's stupid. So I'm doing first-time homebuyers seminars via Zoom now. And I'd say our average attendance right now is about 60 to 70 people that show up every week.
Every week, yeah.
Pretty much every week. So it's been to the point where my lender had to hire 4 more people because we're getting between 40 and 60 appointments a week, which is literally absurd. So I ended up partnering up with a company out of Canada because whenever I was doing them, we were maybe getting 10 people, 15 people. Like, we weren't getting very many. Is the challenge that we found. But then I partnered up with the right people that understand marketing far better than I did. And then, we started getting some of our clients, like literally there was one client who got 156 people that was on it, and he had 57 people that booked to get pre-approved with his lender. And his lender's like, how am I going to do this? Right. So you got to be careful. That was only up a $200 budget. So like, it's literally a license to print money. Like, I made $250,000 last year from it. This year, the goal is to sell 50. 1 a week is where I want to try to be. And then, if your average commission is 8, like my goal is to make 400 this year from it.
That's awesome. I love that. Yeah, very cool. So how do people, if people want to check that out, where would they go?
Find me. If you want to find me on Facebook, I think RICOdemand.com is there too. Talks about it very briefly. But we do lives a couple times a week to explain it to agents all across North America. And our database and clientele are growing. The cool thing too is depending on the population, the first person in from that city may get exclusive. So then nobody else can. And when people are talking, it's like, well, do you want to watch your competition make an extra $400,000 a year, or do you want to do it? Because that's the reality of it. And then now we're getting into sellers seminars. We're beta testing those, and also investment seminars and how to get people there. So we're expanding the buyer stuff to sellers and to investors as well too.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, so let's get back to eXp a little bit. What was the most attractive thing about eXp to you?
The ability to take over the world. Like I'm not limited to Calgary. Like, I have business partners after 9 weeks. I have business partners in San Antonio, in Nashville, in Florida, in Ontario. We were on the phone with somebody from South Africa on Saturday. Like you're just like, what in God's name is going on? And it's cool. Like if you'd have told me 3 months ago, it's like, you're going to have teams or different things all across the world, I'd have been like, you're the stupidest person I've ever talked to. I don't know how I would ever accomplish that. But it allows me to do that. And because I started teams off, I was twisted. I went and started a team in Seattle, in Kelowna, and in Ottawa. So I had 4 different cities running at once. The challenge is I had to be there for all of them and all the time, and the expense and everything wasn't worth it. So 5 years ago, maybe when I had this concept, I had no idea that eXp would allow me to essentially do the same thing without having all the expenses and be able to grow in different cities. So it's literally right down my alley. I have a coaching program that's free, so I can offer that to people. Like it's my purpose is being met, I feel right now more than it's ever been.
What is that purpose? Because, obviously I was actually there when Michael and Jay were talking to you. Well, what is that purpose for you?
If I had a goal, I'd love to be the #1 real estate coach in the world in the next 5 years and be able to offer the platform to everybody for free and help people grow their business. It's pretty cool feeling when you get a text from somebody that's been working with me for like 8 weeks. And they said that they've already sold twice as many homes the first 2 months in real estate as they did all last year. So, they don't want to be, they don't want to be where they're at right now. I'm not going to mention who for different reasons, but they don't want to be at the job they're at right now. They want to just do real estate full time, and they're slowly being able to get there from the different things that we're offering and the organization's offering. So when you get texts like that, it's pretty cool. And, people just thank you texts that I get, thanks for getting on the Zoom, or thanks for helping me out, or people that actually see the training that we have, and they're like, what, are you for real? Like we have 15, like starting hopefully May 1st. It gets pushed back because I'm reliant on other realtors, which can be a gong show. But May 1st, we have 15 different agents, 15 different realtors that are coaching 15 different segments, 15 different topics, and it's going to be live every week. So it's pretty powerful stuff that, to my knowledge, doesn't exist. Then we want to expand by the end of the year and be at 30 people. So imagine being part of a free coaching program where you had 30 different agents that are high producing that are teaching you something whenever you want to plug in. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So helping other people is a fulfilling thing. Imagine that.
Yeah, I know. Right. Yeah, no, it's a big thing. And for me, it's massive. And I've always been there to help people a lot. Like, I think if you get to know me and ask my sphere or even my team or family, I'm always there for people. And this just gets to expand it on a bigger level. So that's the cool thing about eXp. Like, I literally was with somebody yesterday, and this is a true story. Somebody came to me from Remax at my old office, and they're like, man, like, I can't believe you left. You're the #1 team here. And we're talking about it. I'm like, if you literally had a certified check for $1 million and being like, hey man, I need you to come back to Remax, I'd be like, good luck, never happening. So I don't know what that number is, but I know $1 million is 100%. There's a 0% chance I'm going back to my old office if somebody gave me $1 million cash to go back, because I know the opportunity here is it exceeds that and more if you want it to.
So let me ask you this. Well, some people think it's too late to eXp. What do you think?
No, man, it's perfect. Everybody did the legwork for you. It's not too late. Like, it's rattling. Like if we're gonna be out here, like I'm sitting here now and I talk to Kinder, quite often. I talk to Jay, I talk to Reese a little bit more, and he's sitting there. He's like, man, my organization's growing like this much a month. I'm like, motherfucker, I'm like, yeah. So like, there's times where I'm like, all right, but he's like, they put in the work, like they deserve it, right? But it's hard starting off, at ground one. And I'm like, I'm not big into social media, and I have this guy who's running an organization who's got like 20,000 followers on TikTok. One of his videos got 2 million views, and I'm like, man, if I start TikTok, I'm at like 0. Like, I don't want to do that. That sounds stupid. However, I'm doing it right now, and there's so many people. The truth is, there's going to be, according to my calculation, there'll probably be this time next year, 1 in 14 agents will be with eXp if the growth continues at the same rate it is. But there's still a ton of opportunity. Even if there's 100,000 agents, that means that there's 100 so if there's 100, so just in North America, I'm going to use, I think there's 1.4, including Canada. So if there's 100,000, there's 1.3 million people that aren't, right? Like that's a lot of people, right? There's a lot of people you can still go out. And one thing I'm realizing, it's be careful who you align yourself with in eXp. And I mean that genuinely, because if there's not something that your upline's not offering, it's going to be challenging. So make sure that you go out there. And that's why I feel we offer so much more than everybody else, is because like I have people that are coming and be like, oh, I've heard of eXp before. And then I tell them what we're having, like, this is eXp. I'm like, no. This is what I'm offering. eXp is the bonus that you get too, right? So it allows me to offer my platform for free.
I love that. Yeah, that's so cool just to be able to give that added value prop on top of it. Obviously goes a long way. So what would you say is the biggest holdup? There's a lot of misconceptions out there for people who are on the fence, right? What would you say to those people?
Get somebody, like, reach out to somebody that's, again, at a high level, because that's what it took for me. I'm just being honest. It took somebody to really know it and explain it at a high level for me to be interested, because I talked to a bunch of people, and they almost, honestly, I'm being genuine. Some people that were already at eXp, I'd call them and they'd be like, oh, you can't do this and you can't do that. And I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, I'm coming over. This is what I want to do. And then I talked to my broker, like, that's not true. That's not true. So like, the information, like, if you're going to be an advocate of any company, know the company as much as you can. And if you don't know the answer, find it. Because I think the thing that's challenging right now is so many people have heard so many different stories from so many different people that they don't know what's real. Find a rock star eXp agent, find out what it's actually like, and then make your decision based on that. But like the saying is, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Like, it's one of my favorite things that they say. It's like, I'm just like, how have I not been here before? And this is where it's going anyways. You can tell I'm jazzed. I'm super pumped for it. Anybody that wants to listen, I'll tell them, I get calls all the time. Like, why'd you go? Oh my God, I can't believe you left. And they're like, that's what eXp is. I was told this. I'm like, no, it's not that. Like, let's set up a Zoom. And then I set up a Zoom, and here we are, right?
Yeah. I think it was Ralph Waldo Emerson said, once the mind is stretched by a new idea, it can never return to its original dimensions, right? So let's talk about where do you see yourself in 12 months from now, and 10 years from now? Where do you see yourself?
Here, well, I would love to be in a situation where I think I'll always sell real estate, but right now I have to sell real estate. I don't necessarily want to have to. In 12 months from now, I'd like to, on the back of my wall, I have how many people I'd like to be in my organization. So, I have goals there. In 12 months, I don't know. I think, like, I'd love to have, like, my goal would be to have 500, which is pretty, for 12 months is quite a bit. So we'll see if we can do that. But that's my goal, that for that, and to keep selling and to keep helping people. 12 years from now, 10 years from now, even, like, I'll be honest with you, I told my fiance, I'm like, all right, I'm trying for freedom 45. Like, I truly am. Like, now I'm kind of locked in, where I've been working almost every day for 12 years. And even before that, the 10 years before, when I had 3 jobs, I was working every single day. I've just been super motivated, but I feel myself at 40 burning out just a little bit now. So, I'd love to be in a situation where I'm doing Zooms like this, 3-4 times a day. And then that's my day. That's where I'd love to be, is in that situation, because I really love doing these.
I love that. Yeah, I know you like to travel a little bit. Where's your next location?
Well, we're in lockdown, so I haven't done too much. I went to Mexico twice, and now our government's being a royal pain in my ass. So we can't really go anywhere. Otherwise we'd be traveling. Like in 2019, I think the wife and I probably went on 30 or 40 trips that year alone, you know, somewhere every couple of weeks. And so I get the itch to go back out again. So as soon as they unlock us, I'm going wherever.
Where's the first place you're going?
I'd love to go to Hawaii. That'd be probably the first place. And then actually maybe before Hawaii, what I'd probably do is go visit my boy, Kyle Whistle, and his wife. You know, we're good friends and I haven't got to see them. It's the longest I've been knowing them that I haven't gone there. We go to San Diego and visit him probably 3 times a year. So we're trying to figure out a way for me to get down there. And then I'd probably go there. And then from there, I'd probably fly to Hawaii and then back home. So that'd probably be our first trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking about Black's Beach the other day. Don't go to Black's Beach.
Yeah. That's right.
San Diego. Or go and just, but don't look it up before you go. It'll be a nice little
surprise yourself. Exactly.
Well, hey, how would people get a hold of you if they want to get a hold of you, Brad?
The best way is honestly on Facebook. I'm not on Instagram. I probably should be. There's all those things I should be doing with social media, but I'm not. So I would say, yeah, just look up Brad Van De Walle on Facebook and go from there. And I'd love to touch base with anybody that has any questions. And, you know, the truth is that, you know, even if it's somebody that's thinking about it, even if they're not even in my downline or upline, I don't care. Like, just call me, because literally eXp can change it. And I did the math. I'm like, my Remax fees were 300,000 over the last little while. I could be up another 300,000. I'm like, oh my gosh. So just getting the money back, because of, you know, getting my money back for stock and everything. It's just, it's the best company ever. And I get the passion behind when people get in here. And, you know, for the people that are watching that aren't with eXp, don't necessarily, like, have an open mind, have a look, because I didn't, and I wish I would have. And but once you're in it, you'll understand it, because it makes your life better. It makes your family's life better. It makes people that you know's lives better. And I think that's the biggest part. Like, a guy that I know has a very bad heart condition, not sure how long he's going to make it, but he has a huge network of people all across the world. So he's coming on board, and he's going to be able to get some passive income, so that when he retires, he can retire maybe a little bit earlier, because he doesn't know how much time he's got. So that's where it really hit me too. I'm like, man, that's pretty powerful stuff that, you know, this company is going to provide him an opportunity to have some passive income. So pretty cool.
Yeah. I think that's a good place to end it right there with that bombshell. So, Brad, hey, thank you for sharing your story. We'll link to your Facebook down in the description below, but yeah, hey, thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, man. I'll be back anytime. Call me anytime. I love doing this.
Will do. All right, Brad, take care.
Yeah. Appreciate it.